Hi, my name Mayo, and I draw. But I'm mainly a character artist, and I wanted to get good at drawing environments and buildings and stuff like that. Why? Because I like cool backgrounds for my characters, and I also like environment and I like environment art and backgrounds and stuff like that in general. But I'm not good at them. I don't know how to do that. I don't practice that stuff. So I'm going to be doing, for a little bit, I'm going to be doing some background studies and some structure studies. And I decided, one, to motivate me to continue doing this, and two, because it's something that I would like to see more. I'm going to be doing time lapses with commentary over them. Because it's something that very few artists do, I think. Or at least that I've seen. And, I don't know, I think it's very cool. It's very chill. It's stuff that I would like to watch. I'm gonna be lightly editing them, so it's not supremely boring. But it's just a very, very chill video. And if anyone's watching this, hopefully they enjoy it or something. I don't know. And I'm also doing it to log my own thoughts and put them out there. Not just in my head. It helps a little bit. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Maybe I'll like throw in the fucking explosion every once in a while to keep your attention, but that's about it. So we're gonna start. Okay, so right away, this first couple of these first couple of minutes is me just trying to figure out how to even do this. Just blocking out general shapes, because I did study other time lapses and speed paints and stuff like that. See how they did it. And one of the main takeaways that I got for them is you really just gotta like work off of illusions, which I mean seems straightforward, right? Art, like 2D illustration is illusions. You're not actually making shapes, or you're not actually making 3D objects. You're just making shapes that represent objects, and you really gotta stick by that rule. It doesn't matter if it's like, if you're detailing everything, as long as at a glance it looks like the thing that you're trying to represent, that's enough. And you need to be able to move on. That's one of the biggest takeaways I got from this. This isn't my first attempt at this. I had another one where I started in grayscale, and I was actually going to do like the whole picture, the whole reference picture, not just the main saloon. And that was way too much for the first attempt at something like this. And also, I usually don't do grayscale and then convert it to color. It was honestly not my approach at all. So I chose to go for something that I like. I think it's important, if you're stepping out of your comfort zone, is to find ways to connect it back to what you're comfortable with. To find your own joy doing this. Here's me obsessing over a door for no reason, even though the rest of it is not detailed at all. That's another thing. Like, you just have to be able to move the fuck on, bro. With environment and structure paintings and stuff like that, there's so many possible details that you could do. And I have this really big issue. And one of the big reasons I take so long to finish my pieces, I just obsess over some random detail because I want it to look perfect. And I don't need to. Like, and I can't. If I do that for every little bit in the piece, I will never finish anything. There's so many possible details that I could add. I just need to move the fuck on. When I started blocking out this texture, for a while, like that color that I had for the support beams was bothering me. But then now that I've used it as like a shadow color or like a lower tone to add highlights to, it started making a lot more sense to me. And this is when it really started coming together for me. Like, I was like, okay, wait, this is turning into something pretty good. Here I'm just using like layer modes like multiply and overlay to just add some shadow and shit. Make the values more pronounced, because like people repeat this all the time. It really is all about the values. Honestly, art in general, like if you want to represent depth and form, you should really just focus on values. And it sounds easy, but you have to keep reminding yourself of that, and that's the hard part. Add a little highlights. This is just me playing with saturation. Then from here, so this is another session. The first one took me like 1.5 hours, which is honestly way too long for what I did, but for a first attempt, it's reasonable. And given how slow I am, I think I did push myself. But here I was in a call with a friend for like the next couple of minutes here. So I went really slowly doing these windows and the barrel that comes next and the bench. But yeah, I'm definitely making use of the polygon lasso tool and stuff like that, which you have to. It's so useful. I'm not used to using those. Usually I block out my shapes with lines and then I paint over them, which I could do. It's a valid approach. But for my more painterly style, it doesn't really make much sense to do that. I feel like I should just do straight color. Just go straight into color. Another thing I have is I don't like working with too many layers. You'll see that I make things harder on myself. You saw there in the windows that I had to draw them over and then like delete the parts that would be overlapping. It's just my way of working. I can't work with too many layers. If I have too many layers and too much compartmentalization, I start to lose focus and start worrying less about drawing and start worrying more about organization, and it completely like puts me out of it. I used to do that. I used to really try to do that. I can't do that anymore. I usually create more layers to add detail and then I merge them as soon as I can, which usually comes back to bite me in the fucking ass. And hey, it's working. So if it's working, don't fix it, bro. The barrel. Here's me obsessing over a barrel. Again, I was in a call, so I defaulted to my bad habits. I don't think I was focusing on breaking them here. So I'm just obsessing over this barrel for no goddamn reason. Even though it didn't even end up looking that good. I was really trying to force myself to make it look good. And I realized that with the bench it took me way less time. I think, yeah. And then I went back to the barrel. Bro, this barrel, man. It's so important to the piece, you don't understand. Yeah, I just copy-pasted the bench. Yeah, again, I started speeding up with the lanterns. I was like, oh shit, I'm taking way too long. Let's hurry the fuck up. Got some little color balancing. I love adjustment layers, by the way. Okay, this is when the... Okay, this is another session. I'm by myself again. So you'll see that I start, like, not obsessing over details as much, I think. But yeah. My approach is definitely... I use adjustment layers and color balancing, and selective colors are a really useful one. I use those to define the base colors, and then I just like color pick a lot from my own colors. Again, made it harder on myself by not separating it into layers, as you can see. But it's not that bad. I can just select it. I'm used to being a little scrappy like this. It's fine. I'm setting just a shadow color behind the wooden planks and stuff. And then just going in. Doing some colors, color picking from the support beams and stuff. Yeah, I'm adding more shadow here because yeah, you can see, oh my god, you can see me rapid fire fucking compare them. Because I noticed that the lower half of the building was way darker because of the shadows, so I did that. I also noticed, you'll see here in a bit, I also noticed that, yeah, some colors weren't right. Here I was just adjusting colors, and yeah, it was way too saturated and cartoony compared to the reference picture, which it is stylized. Like, I'm not trying to make it look realistic and exact. That would be way too much work. But I do want it to look somewhat like the reference picture. So here I'm using selective color, very underrated adjustment layer type. You can select just the reds and oranges of the piece, or of the image, and adjust their color and stuff like that. It's super useful. And then I did like some like color balancing and stuff, and it looks like this, which I think is a much more muted color palette, but it looks closer to the reference, and it still looks nice. It's a lot more depressing now. Just adding these little pulls. Yeah, I was way more comfortable at speeding up here. I really felt the difference. By the way, throughout this whole thing, I didn't use perspective grid once. I was just kind of eyeballing it. I think the reason for that is, the main reason I wanted to do that is to kind of get used to eyeballing it so I can more efficiently sketch. Because it is important to use perspective grid, especially when you're doing buildings. Because buildings are a very exact thing. They have measurements and straight lines and stuff like that. But I need to get good and get efficient and fast at doing sketches of this stuff. So I need to get used to eyeballing it. I understand that the horizon line is roughly where like the floor is, the floorboard on that is. That's basically the horizon line. There's two vanishing points, one to the left, one to the right. So I'm just doing it based off of that. Adding some details to the sign now. Oh yeah, spent way too much time doing this fucking saloon text because I suck at fonts. I mean, this is so scrappy. I was kind of done with it by now. I was like, okay, I just want this to be over with. I want to move on. But looking back on it, I'm still pretty proud. Like, this is a pretty good first real attempt at something like this. I am satisfied. Oh, that is the most depressing grass ever. Wow. Just some light vignettes and stuff, experimenting with stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Some main takeaways from this and things that I want to do better. Main takeaways is, again, I just need to focus on general shapes and the illusion of depth. I need to stop trying to detail everything and just like really just use tricks to make my life easier. Like with those ropes around the support beams, like just put a blob and then draw lines over it. That works. As long as you get the impression that it is a 3D object, that's all that matters. And this has forced me to like really focus on areas of detail and try not to obsess over stuff. Hopefully next time I can pre-plan better. I feel like, I know I said I don't like to work with too many layers, but this would be a lot easier if I just kept the support beams on a separate layer in the foreground. Like, this would be a lot faster. I think that's something I definitely want to work on, is planning ahead, figuring out what layers are obviously in the foreground, what layers are obviously in the background, and just kind of like frickin' thinking about it. Slowing down and thinking about it, but not wasting time over unnecessary stuff. The values on this are also like okay. They're not the best. The colors are also not the most interesting. Definitely something to work on. But overall, it's not a bad first attempt, and I'm excited to continue. I don't know what I'm going to be drawing next, but it's going to be freaking awesome. So yeah, that's it. Bye.